Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just check with the people up the back. Are we ready now for the live stream? We are. Fantastic. I'll say hello to all the people in Burnie. Hi, people in Burnie. Yeah, we're waving to you. And anyone else who might be watching this video back later on. It's great to have Kylie Butler here. Kylie is the Managing Director of the Christian Coaching Institute, and she's got heaps of experience in using coaching tools to help us grow other people in their faith and in making good decisions and working through difficult problems. And so this afternoon's session is on asking powerful questions. So it's great to have you with us, Kylie, all the way down from Melbourne. And I'm going to pray for you as we begin. Lord God, we thank you for Kylie. We thank you for the gifts and the experience that you've given her. And we pray that you will speak through her to us this afternoon. Lord, would you teach us some things that we can go away and put into practice to make disciples of Jesus and to grow other people. In his name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. It is great to be in Tassie. Little fun fact about me, I found out, it was probably about 12 months ago found out about my great-great-great-grandmother came here as a convict because she stole a pair of underwear. So I have great lineage and heritage right back to Tassie. How's that? So it is great to be here with you today, and had a fabulous day with some of the youth leaders and youth interns and generational team yesterday, which was just fantastic. Part of where we're going today is actually looking at what powerful questions are, and I've purposely given you a little bit of a workbook because the heartbeat of Christian Coaching Institute is to sneeze the Christian coaching virus across Australia. And you kind of go, that's not a very pleasant analogy to use, but you get what I mean. That sense of somebody catches it, then somebody else catches it, then somebody else catches it, and then somebody else catches it. And so that's the heartbeat and the passion of CCI. And so part of our heartbeat with that is that we want to provide you with resources that you can use in your context. So we want you to take it, use it, multiply it in the context that you're in order to be able to develop others, disciple others, and help them make great decisions and have great conversations. All we ask is that you just don't pretend it's your stuff. So give credit where credit is due and go. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and my family. You'll see on the screen there's a little photo, maybe coming, of my family when we went to Disneyland. So about 2 years ago, my greatest dream was to go to Disneyland. Not 2 years ago, it's been all my life, but 2 years ago we actually got to do this. And so part of my, it was my 40th birthday a couple of years ago, and so I went, you know what, 40th birthday, I'm going to Disneyland. And so we went for 3 days to Disneyland. I'd already been in the country for a couple of weeks leading a team over there. And then my family came over, and then to help them with the jet lag, we went straight into Disneyland. And so we arrived at Disneyland, and the team that had gone before me had been to Disneyland the week before. And they said, okay, Kai, here is the laydown of how you need to make Disneyland work the best. You need to arrive, and the first thing you need to do is go to Space Mountain and go and get a fast pass for Space Mountain, because that one sells out quickly, so you've got to get to that one. Then you've got to go across to Pirates of the Caribbean, because Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't have the fast pass, and the queue is enormous. So if you get there early, you can get on the ride really quickly. So I went, great, got this, landed this. So my husband and kids arrive over, and we land next morning straight into Disneyland. We arrive in Disneyland. My phone is working. He's got no reception whatsoever. So the SIM card that you swap over hasn't registered in the US. So he's got no phone. There's also no Wi-Fi in Disneyland. What the? No Wi-Fi today? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Someone's nodding over there going, yeah, how silly is that, eh? So we arrive in, he's got no phone, I'm the only one with a phone. I say to him, okay, Ads, you go across to Space Mountain. He's been before, so he knows where all that is. I'll go to Pirates of the Caribbean, I'll line up, you come and meet me over there. And then I kind of went and took off with the kids. I assumed that he heard me and that my communication actually got through. Turns out that I was waiting at the Pirates of the Caribbean for 20 minutes and kind of went, this is odd. Where is he? What's going on? No Adam. So I say to the kids, okay, kids, you stay here. Don't move. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll do a quick trip of the park. Anyone who knows Disneyland knows that that is impossible to do in 10 minutes. So I did one little lap, ran back, still no Adam. We wait another 20 minutes, so we do another lap, still no Adam. We do this for 60 minutes. At that point, I go to the person who's kind of hosting the Pirates of the Caribbean place and say, so I've lost my husband. And they said, oh, well, we have a process and a policy for lost husbands, but we don't have a process for lost children, but we don't have a process for lost husbands. I'm like, great. At this point, like, I'm welling up in tears. I'm thinking, where on earth is he? Where could he have gone? So I spent another couple of times doing the rounds, and eventually, after 90 minutes, our circles cross. And it was literally like one of those movie moments. Like, I ran to him. It's like everything parted for me to be able to run. And I grabbed him and burst into tears. I am never leaving you again. And that sense of our first 90 minutes, my dream of what I've wanted to do for all my life, I spent trying to search and find for something that I didn't have. If only I had stopped and asked some clarifying questions, are we on the same page? He was thinking that I was meeting him, and I was thinking that he was meeting me. So we had both got our wires crossed, and we didn't actually do that check-in to see whether we heard and whether we understood each other. And that sense of when we look at powerful questions, it's a funny circumstance to use, but that sense of actually asking that question can be pivotal to being on time for the Pirates of the Caribbean or 90 minutes searching in Disneyland. Of actually asking a question to do that check-in, to see how they're going, to see where they are with stuff. So I want to test your question ability right now. And for those over in Burnie, I need you to do this as well. For those here, you will have got a little card, a little blue one or a little green one. For you guys in Burnie, what I'd like you to do is just find a little piece of paper and you can even rip it off the back of my workbook if you like, or find a friend who's got pieces of paper and rip that off for them. And with those blue cards or those green cards or that piece of paper that you've got, what I need you to do is write a question on there that anybody in the room can answer. So anybody in this room or in Burnie, anyone in your room, that anyone in the room can answer. So it might be something like, what was the name of your first pet? Or what was your favourite holiday? Or what are you doing tomorrow? So those kind of questions that anybody in the room can answer. So take a moment, write a question. Don't think too hard about it. Just think of the first question that kind of pops into your mind and write it on that card or that piece of paper for you guys in Burnie. Okay, when you've got that, I need you to stand to your feet. Yes, interaction. Extroverts go, woohoo! Introverts going, I don't like this. So, what I need you to do is, you've got on the screen here, it says, write down one question. Anyone can answer. What your job now is to mingle. So mingling here and Burnie, I need you to mingle and do this as well. So get up, find a partner, ask the question, the other person will answer the question, they will ask their question and you will answer it. Then you're going to swap cards or swap pieces of paper. So you take the new question and you'll go and find another partner. Ask, answer, swap cards, go find a new partner. Ask, answer, swap cards. Off you go. Go and find someone to chat to. Okay, well done. Now, it's always fun trying to pull everyone back at this point. What I want to hear, final statement, everyone back with me, Okay. Bernie, I'm sure that you are less rowdy than what this group is here, hey? Okay, what I'd love to hear is, what is something interesting that you found out about somebody else in the group? Sorry, Bernie, I can't call out to you, but I'll repeat what these guys say in here. So something interesting. Born in the same hospital as someone else in the room. In Sydney. Woohoo! That's amazing. Okay, what else? So you got the same question that you started with? Was it your card? Great. Yeah. Oh, lots of people having different amounts of siblings. Oh, just one person. Fantastic. What else? You wrote down the same question. What was your question? What was the question? Where were you born? That's fantastic. What else? You got to talk to a comedian. Comedian down here. Very good, very good. One more. Yeah. Is a sibling still a sibling if they've passed away? Whoa. That's some deep questions, eh? And some fun questions along the way. Isn't that interesting? That was a simple, fun, quick exercise that actually unpacked a whole lot of things that you wouldn't have known about people in the room. That's the power of a question. Even a neutral, easy question can actually provide some greater insight and input around a person, their life, their history, their family of origin, their context, their culture. The power of questions is incredible. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis chapter 3, right at the beginning. So Jesus is, well, he is there, but we're talking about God. So God is with Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve have just done the dodgy with an apple. And Adam has gone into hiding. And God asks this question of Adam. And he says, Adam, where are you? I find that question fascinating because I don't know about you, but I am tipping that the creator of the universe knows exactly where Adam is. Why does God ask this question? And it's not that question of Adam going, oh, I'm hiding behind a bush, kind of, where are you? It's a much deeper question than that. Yes, where are you physically? But where are you emotionally? Where are you spiritually? Where are you relationally? Where are you? A whole heap of what coaching is actually about helping people to locate where they are. A whole heap of discipleship is actually locating where people are. Where are they? Where are they spiritually? Where are they relationally? How are they going? Where are they? Understanding context, understanding family of origin, understanding why they think the way they think is around understanding and locating where somebody is and helping them to locate themselves. You ever been in those times where for me, I use the analogy of my brain feels like a ball of wool. Actually, it's lots of wool all mixed in together in a knot. And it's really hard to kind of untangle yourself and try and figure out, how can I get clarity here? Like, everything seems to be confused and meshed in all together. And I can't get clarity. It's not until I sit with someone who just listens, and someone who's really clever at asking curious questions, that actually helps me to unravel and see things as they really are. Those people are a pure gift to us, being able to get clarity and understanding of what's going on in our world. Let's fast forward now to the Gospels and look at the life of Jesus. Now, Jesus asked an incredible amount of questions, and we'll come to that a little bit later on, but I want to just touch base on one question that he asks. And he's walking through a town, and there's the pool of Bethsaida. And there's a man who's been crippled there for 38 years. And he asks he walks through and he says to the guy, well, what is it that you want from me? Do you want to be healed? And what does the guy say? He says, I can't have anyone to actually get me into the pool. Like, no one's coming to pick me up and get me into the pool. People keep getting in there. When the waters stir, they keep getting in there quicker than I can. So I can't get to the pool. I'm tipping that actually what he wants is not someone to help him into the pool. He wants to be healed. But he can't figure out what he wants. But Jesus asks him, what is it that you want? Do you want to be healed? And these two questions, where are you and what do you want, form a key foundation of us helping to disciple others, helping to be curious about their life and their world. But I don't know about you, but sometimes we can get a little messed up and we have our own agenda as to how things will work. I want to show you a little video. It is of me, and so you're going to have to watch me again with somebody else. But I could have got Stephen up to do this for me. He is on VP. Luckily, he's probably thinking. But I want to show you just 5 different demonstrations of kind of bad listening or bad coaching or bad question asking. So let's have a watch of this. I've asked Kim to come up and have a little bit of fun. We're going to give you 5 different demonstrations of coaching. Thankfully, I'm going to be the coachee, and Kim's going to be my coach today. And you're going to be amazing.
I am, so this is my moment.
You're coaching.
Oh, hi, Kylie. Sorry. How have you been? What's going on?
Good. I'm so excited to be at Arrow today.
Yeah, do you know, I went to Arrow as well.
Did you?
Yeah, and I love Arrow. I've been doing it for so many years. Like, Arrow for me personally has just been such an incredible experience.
Yeah, it is. It's so good.
Yeah, because I love the people there. I love it. I just love it. I just learn and I grow. And I just keep thinking, Arrow is amazing. I'm so blessed to be here. Yeah.
It's good. All right. All right, number 2.
Hi, Kylie. How you going?
Hi, great, Kim.
What's going on in your world?
I've got to write a budget this week.
Oh my goodness, you must be feeling so bummed about that.
Yeah.
Everybody hates budgets. Everybody hates budgets. They're so boring. That would be awful.
Yeah, it's not.
And I bet you're worried about what it is.
Yeah.
You have to, I can totally understand how you feel.
Yeah, it's a 3-year budget, so that's a little trickier. But I think I've got it.
Yeah. Well, I think budgets generally, they shouldn't be 3 years. So there should be 2 or something like that. So maybe, I don't know, I think you maybe need to sort of reconsider what you're doing.
Okay, all right.
I'm glad you came to me about that, actually. Yeah. Hi, Kylie. I keep forgetting to do the hello. I'm not good at that bit. Hi, Kylie. How's your week been?
Yeah, great, actually. We've got a fundraising proposal that we've got to have due in this week. We've got a great leader who's doing it, but there's just so much work I've got to do this week. And then I'm here at Arrow today.
You know what you should do?
What?
What you should do is just... So who's your upline?
Me.
Okay. Well, you should just do the, like in terms of making the plan, whatever, just make other people do the stuff. Just offload it all.
All?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what you should do.
Okay.
You definitely should do that.
But they don't know how to do it.
Oh, no, that's okay. You should just give them the work anyway, just as long as you don't have to do it. It's fine. It's good empowering of leaders.
You never know what's going to come out of these talks.
Hi, Kylie. How are you?
Yes.
How's your week been?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, having a great week. Spent last week up on the Gold Coast and just so much that's buzzing around in my head from that.
Yeah, of course, you'll be wanting to reflect, though, on all the learning that's happening there. Is that that would be the main issue?
Not today.
Well, I mean, it's probably important, though, that you do think about what happened.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I should at some point. Yeah.
So what was happening on the Gold Coast?
It was, so we had some great speakers. So Mark Sayers was there. He was awesome. Learned so much from Mark. Found him incredible, and just the insight into Australian culture and stuff was amazing.
Yeah, I was more wondering what happened at the Gold Coast in terms of the theme park.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was.
Okay.
Hi, Carly, how you going?
Thank you. Good, thanks.
Good.
You got any watch?
Yeah, I do. So, what were you saying?
Oh, I'd love to be able to talk through today about. Sorry, you all right?
It's got this thing where you turn the knob and it makes a noise.
Oh.
Sorry, you keep going.
I'd love to be able to just to talk through. I've got just a couple of staff members that are here, and I need to be able to train and develop them.
Yeah. I was good at that one.
Okay, thanks, Gibby. Go ahead. That's enough of that one. Okay, that was not good coaching, just in case you were wondering. Not that one. That sense of, I know none of you would do that. None of us would have that sort of agenda of it's all about me, making assumptions, giving advice, leading the conversation, or not listening. None of us would do that, would we? What I want you to do now is actually turn to the person next to you, and I want you to chat about a time that you were given advice that you didn't agree with. So, time that you were given advice that you didn't agree with. So, chat to a partner or triplets if that's what works. Okay. So, I'd like to get a little bit of feedback from you. Not the story or what the situation that happened, but what I'd actually like is, how did that make you feel? When you were given advice that you didn't agree with, how did that make you feel? Annoyed, yes. Angry. Pardon? Empty. Misunderstood. Yeah. Awkward. Abused. Oh, amused. That's different. Yeah. Sorry? Self-doubt, yeah. So is it young or inexperienced? Yeah. Why can't you see it my way? Yeah, confused. Incompetent. Defensive. There was another one. What was that other one? Patronised. See, yeah, now you get to see. I get messier, the worse my spelling gets. That does say patronised. What else? Yeah. It can depend on the relationship that you have with someone too, can't it? Now, I don't know about you, but I would be really disappointed if the people that I work with, the people that I disciple, my team, if they walked away from a conversation with me feeling any of this. But that's what my advice does sometimes. But I got really good advice. I've studied hard. I got like a master's degree in something. Surely there's some input and advice that I can give you. But there's that challenge piece of what we think is great advice can actually be this to somebody else. What would it look like if we actually held a different posture? And this is the paradigm shift that we need to begin to make from this telling paradigm to this coaching or question asking, this curious space, from teller, director, rescuer, delegator, to trainer, encourager, equipper, and coach. Because the reality is, we know that what a person discovers, they own. What they're told, they resist. We see that even in little toddlers, right? We say to them, don't touch the hot stove, you'll burn yourself. What do? They touch it, don't they? Because they need to figure out for themselves that what hot is. And we're a little bit like that as we grow up too. We've still got to figure it out for ourselves. And our context, our culture, our family is different to the person that's sitting next to us right now. Each one of us are different. So how can we use questions, curious questions, in order to be able to create an environment that somebody can unpack it for themselves? But I want to do a little exercise with you now. So in groups of about 3 or 4, you'll notice on what page? It's a telling paradigm and coaching paradigm. What page is that on? Page 5, thank you. In groups of about 3 or 4, I want you just to do the telling paradigm first. So if you've got the telling hat on, okay, let's have a go. Let's have a go the first one together. So we've got the telling hat on and it says, when you come to me for help, what you need is, how might you fill that gap in? Advice. What else? There's no one right answer here, by the way. Direction. Answers, hey? To listen. To listen to me. That's right. Okay, good. You've got a handle on this. So in groups of 3s or 4s, I want you just to do fill in the blank. Bernie, including you guys, I want you to get into groups of 3s and 4s and just do the telling paradigm for us together at the moment. So off you go. Okay. Now, I've just become aware that Bernie don't have these questions. So we'll get feedback all as a group and then we'll do the coaching one together so they can actually engage with us together in that space. But we're going to give them the answers that we've come up with in the telling paradigm and then we'll join them into the coaching paradigm space. So let's see what we've come up with when you've got your telling hat on, advice giving hat. The first one is, when you come to me for help, what you need is to listen to me. Anyone else got any others? A solution. Great. My value to you is in the something I bring. The listening ear I bring. Information, knowledge. Brilliance. Experience, yes. Wisdom I bring. The glamour I bring. Is that what I heard? That's awesome. That's one that I've never heard in this space. Love it. You have trouble solving problems by yourself, on your own, without help. Without my help. Yeah. Full stop. I can quickly something with minimal information. Solve or fix. Understand, yeah. Okay, if you get the something, you will be able to change successfully. Message. If you get the advice, yeah. The right tools, yeah. If you get with the program, that's great. Excellent. You guys have this telling hat down like really well. If I can, awesome. All right, let's move across. Let's move across to the coaching paradigm. We're going to do this together so that Bernie can join with us in this spot. So now what we're doing is we're swapping hats. So we've had the telling paradigm, the advice giving paradigm. Now we're moving across to the listening and question asking paradigm, that curious space of us dying to ourselves for the sake of the person that God's placed on the other side of the table. For them. So if we're going to put our coaching hat on, their first one is, when you come to me for help, what you need is. What could fit in there? For me to listen. Processing time, yeah. Encouragement, great. Hey, top of the class, powerful questions. Okay, next one. My value to you is in the something that helps you draw from something. Listening skills, yeah, that draw from questions that draw from your own experience, yeah. The next one is, you have the something God has given you. Answers. Intelligence, yeah. Gifts. Yeah, understanding. Insight, great. If I help you think this through, something, then I can. You can do it better than I can. It'll help you more than I can. Okay, and last one, successful change is a function of something than information. Owning. Being brave, yeah. Yeah, helping them to see it. Whoa. Transmogrifying. Now, there's a word I haven't heard. Now, coaching sits with that idea that every believer already has an advisor, and that advisor is the Holy Spirit. So how do we tap in to what God is already doing in the life of the people around us? God is at work. How do we actually ask those questions that unlock and unshackle someone to work out what God is doing? To help them to locate where are they and what do they want? And more importantly, what does God want for them? So good coaching is not the art of asking good advice, but the art of asking great questions. Do our conversations, whether they be with family, whether they be with friends, whether they be with our team, our leaders, the people that we disciple, do we kind of go into them as that first spot of, I'm curious and I want to ask a question? Or do we go into that spot of going, you've got it wrong and I need to correct and rectify and give you some information and knowledge? Now, they're two extremes, right? But if we sit with that understanding, that questions unlock and help somebody to get greater accountability and greater responsibility for their own life, then we want to do that posture of asking powerful questions. There are 3 ways we can use questions. The first one is to gather information, to actually figure out what's going on for them. How do we kind of figure out what's going on in their world and gather some of that information? The second way is to increase awareness. Now, this is not increasing our awareness or our intrigue of, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I find out more about that. But actually awareness for the other person. How do they become more aware of where they are and what God's doing and what they want? So increasing awareness. And the third way we can use questions is to actually promote action. What are they going to do with this? Where are they going to go? So you've got this insight and awareness. Now what? If it sits at awareness, it's great, but if it sits in action, there is transformation in that. So how do we help people to move from awareness to action? Now, in my next workshop, sorry, not in this one, I'm actually going to talk through a very simple conversation model to be able to do this with your team, with your family. I use questions with my kids all the time. I have a 14-year-old daughter and a nearly 17-year-old son, and this thing still works. They're actually able to get, even as teenagers, to have greater ownership, responsibility, and accountability for the decisions and the choices that they make. But let's go back to Jesus, because Jesus actually asks a significant amount of questions as we read in the Gospels. Jesus actually asks 339 questions in the Gospels. 109 in Matthew, 68 in Mark, 107 in Luke, and 55 in John. Now, we know that there are multiple accounts of the stories, right? So we know that a whole heap of them are going to be cross-referencing in the same situation that those questions were used. But still, that is a significant number. That's an impressive number of questions that Jesus asked. Now, as a rabbi, Jesus, he was expected to actually ask questions. It was really common for when a disciple asked a rabbi a question, that the rabbi would actually ask a question back. They wouldn't give the answer. They would question back to the disciple in order for the disciple to try and figure out what was going on. In that time, it was more common to sit in that posture of curiosity and be okay with uncertainty and mystery that God is. In our Western world, we kind of have a little bit more of there's got to be a right answer. There's got to be an answer. But God is mysterious. And as we look back in Jesus' time, the rabbis were question askers. So you didn't go to a rabbi to get advice or the right answer. That's frustrating though, hey? You go and ask someone a question and they just flick the question back at you. There's a couple of my coachees that are in the room and know all about that I do that to them. But that sense of actually helping somebody to unpack for themselves what is going on, to be able to figure out what does this mean for them. When Jesus asks questions, it unsettles, it unnerves, it also realigns, it transforms, and it kind of subverts these old assumptions and loyalties. We often think, I don't know whether this is just the environments that I'm in, particularly, with high schoolers, and I've been a youth pastor for 15 years. So in that space, often young people kind of go to the Word and they kind of open it in order to be able to see what Jesus says to them. But actually, as we read the words of Jesus, it's more often that we should go, what's the question that Jesus is asking? Why is he asking that question? What does that mean? What would it be if we opened Scripture and asked the question, what's the question Jesus is asking of me? We often see it as that sense of, 10 neat ways to, make our life closer to Christ. But the Word is just not like that at all. It is so much more mysterious and beautiful and intriguing, and a whole lot of confusing questions that Jesus asks. He doesn't answer a whole lot of them either. He flicks it back as a question to others as well. As we disciple this next generation who are incredibly fascinated with the curiosity, and they're not one for that hierarchical sense of leadership. They are a generation that will push the boundaries, that want to create, they live in that sense of uncertainty and doubt. that actually asking a high schooler a whole bunch of questions is one of the greatest things that you can do. Ask them, why do they think that? Where does that come from? Out of curiosity, not out of a sense of trying to figure out whether they're right or wrong. Discipling this generation is going to require a different way for us to have conversations. And there's 5 types of questions that Jesus asks as we look through the Gospels. He asks open questions, that sense of not a yes or no or a this way or a that way question, but he asks open questions. He asks reflective questions in order for us or the person to be able to think about, what does this mean for them? He asks decisive questions that actually require some action and some movement and some challenge and some change. He asks some responsive questions, that heartfelt change that happens. And he asks some questions that actually bring transformation. They're cohesive questions. So we want to change the conversations that we have. Powerful questions in a curious way for the sake of the person that God's placed on the other side of the table, the other side of the phone, that's driving next to you in the car. Can I encourage you to ask some questions? What I want to give you now is just a couple of moments to chat to the people around you. You'll notice that in the back there's a little section for summary of the day. So I just want you to chat to the person next to you around key learnings or key insights from that, and then we'll get some feedback around that and any questions that you might have. So a couple of minutes to share with someone. What is your key insights or questions that might be kind of unraveling for you right now? All right. We've got just a couple of minutes left. So it'd be great to be able to hear any insights or any questions that might still be kind of rattling around for you. For those of you who are in Burnie, you are going to get this workbook emailed to you. So it's coming to you after this afternoon's session. So you will get this workbook in your emails as well. But questions or insights that might be kind of unsurfaced from today's conversation. It's fun. You were engrossed in conversation already. That's great. Any questions or any insights that people would like to ask or share from today? Yeah. Can you, someone say that again for me so I can? Using open questions lessens the ability to give advice. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to give advice, ask an open question instead. Love that. My senior pastor about 15 years ago, I told this story yesterday to a few of the crew. I can talk a lot, okay? So I can talk all day without any trouble at all. So for me to choose to be quiet and ask a question was a very big discipline for me to change. And so he did this great illustration and he used it and I just copied it. So he would ask a question to a group and then he'd pick up a piece of food and put it in his mouth and chew that for a really long time. Because it's rude to chew with your mouth full. But what that did for me is rude to chew with your mouth, rude to talk with your mouth full. That sense of what it did for me is actually begin to rewire. For me, I needed something to say, shush, Kylie, stop talking, and actually choose to discipline myself to listen and ask a question rather than fill in the silence with that spot. So, and there's something around hospitality that is so beautiful for relationships as well. So even now for my coaching conversations, I still have a cuppa with me as a reminder, shush, just ask a question in that space. But great insight. When would someone need to get a professional coach? Yeah. And I guess the coaching can sit under it sits under the helping disciplines as those ones. So you've got counselling, mentoring, coaching, spiritual director, and there's plenty of others. They sit under this kind of banner of the helping discipline. Coaching is around future-focused, forward-moving. The glass is always half full in coaching. So that sense of when someone is wanting to need to get clarity in their life, or that sense of overwhelm, or they actually go, I just need to bounce this off someone to ensure that I'm, moving forward in a good direction. But they know that they've got the answer. They just need someone to wrestle with them. That sense of having an intellectual wrestling partner and wanting to move forward. That's where coaching comes into play. Someone who might sit in the spot of needing to look at their own history and unpack what the pain is in order to be able to move forward, that would be the counselling space. So quite different in that spot. Great question. All right, that is me. Over to you, Stephen. It's been great to have you in this workshop.
So on behalf of all of you, I'd like to thank Kylie. There'll be lots for you to take away and think about. You can see up there on the website address christiancoachinginstitute.com.au. That's where you can find out a whole lot of courses that Kylie and others on the team run. So there's a lot more ways that you can explore this. And from time to time, we also do run some of this down in the diocese. So if you're interested in being trained further, then jump onto that website or have a chat to me. But thanks so much, Kylie. It's been fabulous, really good. Take this away, learn from it. We really appreciate it. We're going to be thanking you properly at the end of the day in the last session. And so we'll wind up now, and you've now got about 25 minutes for afternoon tea. If you need a coffee refill or something like that. And then if you can head back to your workshop so you're in and sitting down and ready by just before 2:30. So goodbye, Bernie, until for another half hour's time. We'll see you soon.